Okay, so this morning we're talking to one of our patients and she says, oh, I've got Barrett's esophagus. So I thought I would tell everybody what that is. So, and you could actually correct me if I'm wrong too. But basically the stomach is separated from the esophagus by a sphincter. And so the stomach creates a really acid environment. I mean, it pours in powerful hydrochloric acid that if you drop a piece of a chicken leg in there, it dissolves it. So it's powerful acid. In fact, if you cut up the stomach and put it into the stomach would dissolve the stomach. So you might wonder how comes the stomach doesn't dissolve itself. It's because it has a powerful, thick mucus layer that protects it from that acid. And if that mucus layer gets broken, then you get the burning of an ulcer or gastritis. Now that acid is very powerful and not all of the body can protect itself against that acid. So when your body secretes the acid, the bag, which is your stomach, has two valves, an intake valve and an outtake valve, and those valves close, ideally, so that acid doesn't go back up into the esophagus and burn it. But in our society, that problem of having the valve break open and letting acid splash back up into the esophagus, which is kind of unprotected, is a very common illness. And you know it's one of the most common ones because you see it advertised every night on TV. The purple pill, right? I've got acid reflux. The guy who draws on his abdomen, have you seen that when he paints it on? So one of the most highly prescribed types of drugs in the world right now is the antacids, and they come as the PPIs, proton pump inhibitors, that's the purple pill, the Nexium, Prilosec, Prevacid, Protonix, and now the new one, most expensive, Acifex. Zegrid. Plus then there's the older version, which are called the H2 blockers, and that's the Pepcid, Zantac, Cimetidine, Tagamet drugs. And then there's the old drugs. There's Tums and Pepto-Bismol and Maalox and Mylanta and drugs like that. So your body, you eat something, and particularly people who are heavy have more likely where that valve breaks open and acid splashes up into the esophagus and burns it. That's where you get indigestion. Okay? Now if it burns it for long enough, the lining of the esophagus will turn into cells that look like the lining of your stomach. To me, that doesn't sound like such a bad thing. I mean, if you're putting in acid all the time, except that, what happens? Sometimes it goes on to form cancer. Now, this has got a special name. The cells of the lining of the esophagus, which should be like your skin cells called squamous cells and become columnar mucosal cells like the lining of your stomach, has a special name. And you can see it on endoscopy, and it's called Barrett's esophagus. And it's important because you have to watch it forever, and up until recently we thought it could never go away, and it could cause cancer. So a really big deal. Now I have had 4 patients who had Barrett's diagnosed by endoscopy, and their doctors say the Barrett's went away. And there have been other reports of Barrett's, which is not supposed to ever be able to go away, has actually gone away. So, Barrett's esophagus, bad business. On the other hand, we have seen our patients, about 60% of our patients pre-op are taking Prilosec, Pepcid, Tagamet, Zantac, Nexium, Omeprazole, or something for reflux. And post-op, when we survey them, about 85% has that resolved. So there's a chance that we'll help your reflux, we hope, and there's a chance that there's a possibility, slim possibility, that we might actually cure the Barrett's. So if you don't mind, we'd love to hear about it. If your endoscopy in a couple of years gets better, I'd like to know about it. And that's the introduction. I still haven't answered your question, though, have I? But it was a long talk, and I think a good one. Okay, now, can you take your